My name is K. Parthasarthi. Topic name is ionic polarization. And today explaining is ionic polarization. Introduction to the ionic polarization. Ionic polarization reflection to the spectrum of the charges with an ionic compound under an exposed electric field. It involves the sliding displacement of the ionic from this equalizable position. Understanding ionic polarization is essential of the always displaced delegation of the products of metals. Basic constants of the ionic bond. Ionic bond, this electrons attracts between the positive and negative charges ionic. This bond typically occurs between metals and non-metals. Ionic bond structure influences the metals above and undergo polarization. What is the ionic polarization? Ionic polarization displaces the displacement of ions with ionic crystal exposed to the electric field. It results in the temporary displaced movement with the metals. The polarization contribution to the overall delicate response to the ionic compound. Mission's ionic polarization. When the electric field is applied, cations and ions shift sliding in opposite displacement. The missions of this shift depends on the ionic size and the structure of electric interactions. Displacement the metals polarizations and the delegation constant. Phase effectivity ionic polarization. The size of the charges ions significantly influence the extremes of polarization. Crystal structure and bonding evolving also play crystal roles. Temporary variables ions can ionic atomic atomic variables factoring polarization leaves. Ionic polarization vs electrons and occupied polarization. Ionic polarization's displacement of ions displaced for electric polarizations which involves electrons closed shift. Unlike organic polarizations which involve permanent displaced dipoles, ionic polarization used temporary. All there are types contributed to the values displaced basic of the metals. The hottest model of ionic polarization. The classical mostest relations like micro polarizations to the micro displacement polarizations. The large model of exposure show ionic respond to the external electric field. These models help brings on the displacement constants of the ionic metals. Essence of ionic polarization. Displaced spectrums of com- ionic commonly one used to the qualified ionic polarization. The result part of the displacement constants reflections the external of ionic polarization frequency displacement metals revolve in the refractions of ionic electric field. Applications of the ionic polarization. Ionic polarizations imposes the usages of captions of captions and institutions. It is inflection the displaced structure and the energy storing capacity of the metals. Understanding ionic polarization. Understanding ionic polarizations add developing metals you on electric positions. Summary and constants. Ionic polarization result of her ionic displacement with the electrons field um, applications on metals displacement positions. Several factors and increasing of ionic season states and structure are infused in external of polarization. Studying ionic polarization is whips of the advantages electrons and disadvantages metals temperatures. Thank you.